Guys, gals, non-binary pals, it's your favorite multicolored hair referee repping out of South Jersey. I'm Peacock ref Jimmy Deacon, and tonight I'm drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' at Moe's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, redoing this intro part. You know the drill by now. With after 200 some episodes, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit, because the YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass. Most places you can find your audio podcast too, and trying to keep my dog from peeing on the carpet. Leave a review on the audio platforms. I don't know if I already said that. I'm speaking too fast. But today I'm excited to have with me the Peacock referee, Jimmy Deacon. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mo. An absolute pleasure to finally be on your show after listening to it and seeing all of my friends join you for some drinks.
Oh, yeah. I was actually just talking to one of my friends in the business here local to me in Omaha that, I've lost count of how many H2O people I've had on. And he kind of jokingly was like, yeah, it seems like the last month or two just about that you hardly have a week where you don't have at least one. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But the reason I ended up going and talking to him was actually because his new entrance music is a local band's version of what used to be Matt Tremont's.
Oh, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Hey, dude, I don't know if you knew this, but your entrance music is, I know, not the same people, but it's a version of Matt Tremont's old music. He was like, oh, shit, I kind of forgot about that. Oh, man. That whole night was a good night, so I've got nothing to complain about. Hell, I even did a short little video with Mike Bennett promoting the channel, so I've got nothing to complain about.
Love that guy.
I've met him 3 different promotions now and about 4 or 5 times, and the nicest dude ever, every single time.
Absolutely. He's a goddamn sweetheart.
Like, you've probably seen the video, but I had that idea from the first moment I saw he was on the card that night. I'm like, I want to do a video with him with that whole ball up your fist, punch him right in the wiener. And then he was all for it. So I'm like, dude, let's go. Man, between that and me yelling out, Adam! during his match and seeing his reaction made my night. Between that and it was at some place they had these German beers that, like, the regular cans were, I kid you not, the size of my head.
Jesus Christ.
I had 2 of them.
As you do.
I had to. I'm part German, for Christ's sake. I had to have them. But anyways,
I would have. I'm 3/4 Irish.
Okay. I'm part German, Irish, and Scottish, and a Navy veteran. So, yeah, I
Oh,
can
you can
drink.
you can drink. Ooh.
So, hell, I outdrank British Navy in Bahrain once. Yeah, that's not easy to do. But anyways, first question that I like to start off with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you getting into the business, refereeing being the important job that it is.
So the fan is two-part because there was a break in between due to COVID. So I first discovered wrestling as a kid. My dad's across the street having a drink with one of his union buddies. I'm channel surfing, come across SmackDown. I think it was still on Thursday nights. Remember
That
seeing
show
Finley?
switches every so often.
Honestly, I see Finley and I'm like, yeah, Irish guy. And then he beat the crap out of whoever. I think it was like a jobber match. And I just kept watching it, and I fell in love with it. And then I go to school next day, talk with my buddies at the lunch table, find out they all love it too. So as a kid, I always my dream was to be a wrestler. I wanted to be like John Cena. And then I still kept that want to be a wrestler for years and years until 2019. I worked at a ShopRite locally, and I worked in the hot food section. And two of my buddies that I worked with were independent wrestlers. They were indie guys, and we would talk about wrestling. And eventually, they realized that I was serious, so they went, "If you're really serious about this, we know a guy, Matt Tremont. He runs out of Williamstown. We've worked a couple shows with him and for him. One of the nicest guys around. We're gonna tell him you're going to his building on this day at this time. He'll meet you there. He'll answer all your questions, allay all of your fears." And so I did that. Now, when I first met Matt Tremont, I had no idea what the hell the indie scene was. I didn't know what deathmatch wrestling was. I was TNA. I was a WWE guy, so I had no idea the gravity of this human being that was just answering everything so kindly for me. My original tryout date was March 29th, 2020. That's the day the world stopped.
Yeah, pretty much right there. Yeah.
So then with COVID, all of my plans fell through. The gyms weren't open. I was going to do the NFL thing. I was going to take dancing classes to work on my flexibility and, my stature. And with the world ending, so did my flame of passion for wrestling. Fast forward to March of 2021. Good buddy of mine, Frank, GCW fan known as the Pompadour guy, because he's got the nice gelled hair. He says, "Hey, you want to see a death match?" I went, "The fuck's a death match?" Sure. He shows me RSP Engage from Tampa Spring Break. And my first question was, what company is this? Where do they run? When's their next show go? It's GCW. Janela wrestles there. They run out of Atlantic City. Their show's next month. I went, get us tickets. That was Ashes to Ashes. So my first indie show ever, my first death match ever was the glass ceiling with Jimmy Lloyd. And I remember being horrified, but walking up to that ring, feet crunching under the glass, looking at the scaffold contraption, putting my hand on the blood and glass covered mat, and the voice in my head went, "Fuck just wrestling. You're going to do that shit." And I went, "Okay, brain." So I started going to all of these shows. I started getting really into it. At the end of the year, that year at H2O, I reintroduced myself to Tremont and asked for another chance. I got it. And January 7th of this year was my 2-year anniversary of my tryout at H2O.
All right.
And since then, it's been balls to the wall. With the reffing, as a kid, as one of Tremont's kids, as a student, one of the things we learned as a part of the dues process is how to ref, because we had a student show every Monday, $5 tickets, to help all the new kids, get acclimated or get people ready for the main roster.
Yeah.
So we would learn to referee, get our feet wet. I fell in love with it more than I thought I would. My first practice match. And so as it kept going on, I kept getting these opportunities. kept working with guys that I considered friends, people I looked up to in the business. And the more it went on, the more my mindset went. I still want to finish out my training. I still want to wrestle. I still want a death match. But I will be just as content as a referee if I don't make that happen. And this coming week at Unlucky 13, somewhere in between all that fucking chaos and bloodshed, it's my 100th match as a referee.
Woo! That is awesome. And congratulations on that. I know I will be watching because I don't believe I got anything going this weekend. You know, shit happens. I get way too... I don't know if I showed you my recording schedule for next month already.
I can imagine how crazy it is.
Oh, God. I try to, during the week schedule in, make sure there's at least one day during the week that, nope, not doing it. And I think there's one week where Monday through Friday, I'm probably going to have one each day. But it's like I try not to do that too often because
burnout.
I did that until burnout is real.
Burnout sucks.
Oh, totally. But then, stuff happened. I had a little break because, the reason I got this tattoo, my wife and I were pregnant with twin girls, but then they decided to show up really early and only made it about a week.
My condolences
on
that, Mo.
Yeah, I've yet to be able to actually go into what was supposed to be their room. But then my wife started getting back into, she used to help with this haunted house here in town. And I'm like, during that season, normally I don't see a whole lot of her because she's mostly there. But that got me thinking after my break, I was like, well, my little girls wouldn't want daddy to be a quitter, so I just full force jumped right back into it. And hell, here I am now. I kid you not, 200th episode. It's already recorded and scheduled out. But the funny part is, we're getting close to WrestleMania. My 100th episode wasn't until right before the last one. And I'm already past 200 recorded and ready to go. When I noticed how close I was to 200, I'm like, oh, you're not stopping me now, damn it.
Yeah, that's how I was. Because I took a 10-month break in between, say, the fall of 2022 and the fall of last year because I was in the worst mental spot of my fucking life, and I've talked about it a lot. And then come September of last year, I decided AC, I'm going to trip on mushrooms the entire weekend. No break. From when I got down there Saturday to when I left Monday, it was one continual psych trip. And during that introspection, the voice in my head went, it wasn't meant to be last year. You tried, doesn't mean it's a failure. Now, you're still fucking serious about this. Get your ass in gear. It starts now. So when I got back from that weekend, I hit up a couple of promoters that always had my back. I said, hey, just so you know, I'm coming back. If you need a ref anytime soon, let me go. So in the first 3 months back, 57 matches, 7 company debuts.
Nice.
I was going in thinking, yeah, maybe I'll hit 100 during Mania. And then I realized, oh, fuck. I might be at 120 when I go into my Mania week, which it blows my mind. That's just when you realize how hard you went in such a short period of time.
Oh yeah, that was definitely me with the podcast. Is I was like, as I was getting close to scheduling those, I was like, holy shit. But then, speaking of death matches, before we go too much further, I actually recently, well, about a year or so ago, maybe two, actually got to see my first ever like legit one, like in person at Sami Callihan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver.
Oh, I fucking love Wrestle Revolver.
Oh man, like a damn party, the whole damn show. But it was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman.
And that's Joel, one of my best friends in this business. That's a hell of a first, Mo. That's a hell of a first death match.
And good Lord, the ending to it. I've talked about it a ton on the podcast, where they took 4 folding chairs and bridged 2 panes of glass, and then Bobby Olson comes rolling in and pulls out a thing of lighter fluid from his pocket.
Yep.
Oh my God, it was awesome. And then
I love fire. If you're ever at a show and you hear me scream, you hear someone scream, "We want fire!" That's me. I'm the sicko.
Oh man, I was on my feet screaming, and when I wasn't screaming, my jaw was on the floor. Like, oh my God! And I've also been to a no-ring deathmatch show, but recently, I had him on my podcast, and I actually have signed ring-worn kick pads of his because he was selling off his old ones. Alex Colon. I got to see him live in person for the first time, and it was him, Ricky Shane Page, and Macklin versus the Second Gear Crew.
Yep.
Matthew Justice jumping off a scaffold. Good Lord. I joke with the Second Gear Crew guys.
That crazy. Matt's one of the craziest motherfuckers I know, and I love him.
Yeah. Like, I joke with them constantly that their matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot with all the shit that gets thrown around in there. And literally, as they were coming out for that match, I literally tweeted out as I'm sitting there, and here's your Home Depot match of the evening. Oh, man. And then we heard like a loud cracking sound from the other side of the venue. And then the next day I saw this video clip, and I'm like, damn, that's what I was hearing. It was literally Macklin taking like a half of a door and just wham, wham, wham. I'm like, God damn. Man, good memories. But H2O, they're getting ready for the Unlucky 13, and the lineup they got going on for that damn thing. Amazing. I'm wanting to say Torn to Shreds. That kicked off the year, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. My memory's a little fuzzy.
You and me both. I believe Torn to Shreds was the January 13th show. I think that was our kickoff.
Yeah, because I was wanting to say, not only did H2O like end 2023 with a bang with, the 200th live event and some of the other shows they had. Hell, they had a couple in December, and then kicking it off with Torn to Shreds, and now they got, the Unlucky 13. They just had that Full House show, which
that was fun. That was so much fun.
Oh man, I was watching
until
live.
Until I got hit over the head with the chair. That was a great show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I saw that happen, I'm like, oh damn. But I was also thinking, the way the match went, you see a chair in the ring and somebody with it, DQ.
I got bamboozled. Goddamn President's Cabinet got one over on me.
Yeah, them sneaky bastards. But the thing that I was thinking of in the middle of all that, and it's like, man, a DQ finish in H2O, that's almost like if you were to have seen one in the original ECW. It's like you just don't think of it.
It's a rarity.
Yeah. Like you know what? I think that was like the first one I've personally seen. I don't know how much frequently it happens, because through the process of having, talent from there on, I had to get rid of IWTV for a little bit, financial, whatever. But
yeah,
people that I've had on were telling me about all these crazy matches, and I'm like, well, shit, I guess it's about time I try to get that back. And then I've not been disappointed, not one bit. It's been nuts from the uncharted territory with the deathmatch discovery gauntlet. That was amazing.
That was one of my favorite things to be featured on Uncharted, especially when I got the call to be on it. There was nothing more I love than seeing deathmatch getting that spot on the card for something like uncharted territory for independent wrestling television.
Oh yeah, and then the thing that deathmatch wrestling is for everybody. I know you definitely, I think somebody once told me that unless you're like a horror movie fan, you're probably not wanting to start somebody off on deathmatch wrestling. But
yeah, ease them into it.
Yeah, ease them into it a little bit.
I wasn't the case. I'm not even a horror fan. I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a gore fan. But I saw one, and I was the light tubes. I was fucking enamored. I was like, you need to get me to a show, Frank. When's their next show? Buy the tickets. I'll pay you back.
Oh man.
And then first one live, glass fucking ceiling. These dudes are falling 15 feet through panes of glass to the mat. I'm literally crying tears of fear, like just out of shock, jaws in my lap, and then still went, that's what I want to do.
Yep. Like I remember,
I've always joked, because I was like, if I ever get my welcome to the business kid moment, like in my first death match, a lot of my friends at H2O know that if I could choose my first crazy bump, I want to get thrown off the fucking roof of H2O. And they're like, what? And I went, yeah, yeah, do it off the side of the building. Just put whatever the hell we want there to catch me. Throw me off the roof. Welcome to the business, kid.
Yeah, I can just imagine some of the reactions you got for that one. Like, I don't know if I'd ever do anything that crazy. I mean, hell, went to a no-ring deathmatch show once, and luckily I was wearing closed-toed shoes because I had that metal connector piece fly off and hit me in the foot.
Oof.
Yeah, it was nuts.
700 light tubes. It doesn't come off on the camera. Well, but I got a little scar there. Is what happened.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can kind of see it there.
I was in the crowd for Neil and Tremont. They're doing tube hell. Those tubes were bouncing everywhere. One bounces towards where I was in the crowd. My worker instinct kicked in of get an arm up, let it hit me. I'm not going to bitch if I get cut or bleed. Don't know, can't say the same for the fan. I end up catching about that big of a piece of light tube. I throw my hand up, caught it. All my friends turn around. They're losing their shit. It's like the second coming of Christ if you look to their face. Like they're losing their minds. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I hand the tube piece to my buddy. I'm like, yeah, that's all. And then I look down, I see a puddle of blood. I went, shit, it got me. But they're like, are you stupid? I was like, the only thing in my mind was, don't let a fan get hit. I do not care if I get cut by glass.
Oh man, that is insane. Like I haven't been able to watch the whole match, but goddamn, that was some insane stuff. That match right there.
The air was, I'd never seen it so foggy in that building. It was beautiful.
Oh man, I can imagine all those light tubes getting destroyed. Yeah, a little foggy in there for the end.
Music to my ears. I love this shit.
Yeah. And I'm the fan of it that I am. Shit. I remember one of the one of the first shows I bought on before Fight Plus or whatever the fuck they're calling it now.
Yeah, now Triller TV Plus by Fight or whatever the hell.
Some shit like that. But it was the Art of War game show, and good Lord, I was hooked since. And then I've had a couple funny experiences watching it with, well, one, my mother-in-law came in and saw some of the stuff and was like, isn't that illegal? I'm like, just sit down. You got your iPad, just sit down and watch.
It's fine.
And then it was actually the Deathmatch Discovery Gauntlet. My wife was sitting there watching part of the show with me because I told her, oh, some people I've talked to are on this. And I forget which show it was, but there was carpet strips involved. And she's just like, oh, is that carpet strips? Like, oh. And I'm just
those suck.
Oh, hell.
Carpet strips suck.
Oh, having to take out carpet and running into some of those. Yeah. I've never been.
That's why I knew that's why I knew they sucked before I ever saw them in a death match. And then I did. I was like, just fucking hit me with a tube instead, like, please.
Yeah. I would be like, yeah, no, hit me with a tube, break a door over me. I don't care. Them damn carpet strips, because I've been lucky enough to have some huge names in the deathmatch rolled on. From mentioned Alex Colon, Madman Pondo. Took me a little over a year to get John Wayne Murdoch on, but I got it.
Best buds. John's the man.
I
love him with every fiber of my being. He's
dude
great. His family's great. Everything about him is great.
Oh, dude, such a good family man, a good wrestler. Like, the guy's a damn machine with the schedule he keeps. Holy shit! And then, the Bev. I think it was a 2022 CZW tournament of death.
That was my first COD live also. I think that was 20. Is that a 19 or it was 20? But I was there live for that. It was crazy.
Yeah. And then, oh God, I've had Tank. I've had his manager, the Rev, on.
Legend.
God damn, I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, yeah. Mine gets a little foggy after the amount of episodes I've had on.
Yeah.
Chris Bradley, Christian Ross. I think that's where my journey with H2O started, was with one of those two. God, those guys are insane.
My dad's first death match I took, and currently only, but not for long, as he walks in the door, was the second Tremont death match tournament, the tag one, where they won.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they won something like that.
He was like, one of our buddies, TJ Brown, will come to shows and he'll record, and he got me and my dad. I was like, so what do you think? He just goes, you guys are fucking out of your mind.
Oh, I just remembered one because we were just talking about him. Neil Diamond Cutter.
Uncle Neil. Let's go.
Oh, my God. Such an awesome time. And I loved watching his episode of that show on IWTV where they gave him the camera.
The Life of?
Yeah, and he was going to Japan and stuff. Having that match in the back of a pickup truck. That was insane.
Yeah, in the mall.
Yeah. That was insane. Oh, God, I could go on and on. I know going back into stuff with H2O, we mentioned WrestleMania week. They got something going on pretty much every
day.
That is going to be insane.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, you got that many people in the area? Why the hell not?
What do we got? We got Monday Night Death to start off the week. See you there. We got Hustle Cup the next day. See you there. Out in Philly, we got Sean Henderson presents Euphoria, I think it's the first show. And then you got IGB at H2O. See you both of them. Then you got Sean Henderson running in Philly again the next day. Then Friday, Thursday or Friday, we also got Action Wrestling coming down. I think it's one of those 2 days, but I forget. There's just so much shit. Then we got IC Dub. We got ETU versus Dragon Gate. We're ending we got PWIs coming. That they've announced stuff for their show. They're coming and running here. And then Sunday, we're ending it with RPW Miasma, which just announced Schlack versus Clint Margera, Danny Havoc, Viking, like a Viking memorial match, a tribute match to Danny Havoc. On a card that already has John Wayne Murdoch versus Ito announced on it.
God damn, that's going to be insane. I'm going to love it.
I cannot wait.
Man, WrestleMania week is always known, not just obviously WrestleMania, but the sheer amount of independent wrestling that goes on during that entire week in that area is just mind-boggling. Insane. Yeah, insane, mind-boggling. Any word you can think of that just describes absolutely nuts. Now, you also I've seen some stuff on your page from promotions outside of H2O. What, for those that might not know so much about you, what are some of the spots outside of there that you've been featured in?
So, outside of H2O, can actually bring this up because I got on my notes app, I keep track of all the companies I've worked for, in what capacity, and all of my matches. So where is it? So we got H2O is my home promotion.
Yeah.
I have refed for Sean Henderson Presents, Bloodstorm Pro. I have worked for UWF, which was the Underground Wrestling Federation, Mikey Fatality. Thanks to him, that was the first ring I stepped back into when I recommitted to the business. I've worked for XBW, Extreme Brand Wrestling, that their last show they ran here had North Korean Assassin and the Hillbilly on it, which was insane. Out in Vegas, I got flown out last year in November of Vegas. I worked for Grap House and the Marks Are Us.
Okay.
I've ref for IWTV officially with Uncharted Territory Season 5. And then I got a couple buddies that I made throughout the years that run up in the Connecticut scene, TF Crew. The first weekend of this year, I made my debut up in the Northeast and worked for them. There's a lot of other possible companies. There's Intergender Bonanza as well. And there's quite a few companies that coming up, especially Mania Week, you're going to see me debuting in.
Nice.
And if and when, because I'm, confident if not cocky. So if and when they go well, I know those are going to open doors to more opportunities. The big thing I want this year, and I am very, very confident I'll make it happen one way or another. Getting into the Midwest territory.
Oh, okay.
Where like Art Ruthless Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Friggin' Flophouse. I want to get out there. I want to AIW. I want to get into that territory. I want to start being able to give a reason to drive out there, to fly out there, just work more shows, get everywhere across the country.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, I know we got a couple promotions here in the Omaha area that I know I'd love to see in. Although one of them, the promoter doesn't seem to like me too much right now. Okay. I'll explain it because there's it could be one of a couple things. But the one that I seem to think most of is when they came back, because they had a little hiatus, they made a big thing about basically starting a sort of women's division. Which I'm like, hey, cool. There's lots of great talent out there, especially on the independent scene. This could be promising.
There's more than enough to make a solid foundation for in anywhere in the country for an independent promotions women's division.
Oh yeah. And then it's been about a year.
Crickets.
Well, by the time that I made the comment, and they had maybe 3 matches the entire year. And I was just like, at my year-end show of I call it my 2 cents, I voiced some comments about that, and the promoter has since deleted not only my podcast Facebook page, and they've also deleted my my personal page from their Facebook. So it's like, okay. And then the last show I went to for that promotion, first time, like the whole night, I was getting a death glare from them. So I'm like, okay, awkward. But in all honesty, I'm not even that upset. I find it kind of funny because, like, the people from Fightful, I'm huge fans of a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
And 2 people that I'm really big fans of, they have the Alex Pulowski and Kate. They have the NXT post show. They call it Sour Graps. And a lot of it is them shitting on all sorts of things on NXT. And it's like, good Lord, okay. They can do that, and they don't have WWE blocking them. So it's like, whatever. I find it kind of funny. But anyways, I try to keep this show lighthearted and fun. So we will jump into 2 categories I have here. The first one's a bit of a name game, where I name off some people. You give me quick thoughts on the person. And each of these people, I have been through H2O in one way or another. I've actually met a couple of them. One of them out of the 4 had actually been on the podcast. So, first one,
I'm ready.
The one that's actually been on the podcast, Billy Starks.
Insane. Prodigal with her talent. Pleasure to work with. Have refed one of her matches before at H2O. Dropped Ronda Rousey on her head. Couldn't be happier. The sky's the limit. She's holding Fed gold one day or another, whether people like it or not.
Oh man, and just the way she's already having the run that she's having with Ring of Honor and Athena.
That kept me tuned in.
Oh yeah,
Billy the Athena story, and that fully kept me involved with Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah. At a time where it seems like Athena is really the only champion they consistently have on the show, it's nice to have that story there that, like, you know what, despite the other ones not being there, this
Athena can carry that company.
Oh, totally. And then Billy Starks, she's already accomplishing all that at such a young age that, good Lord, where 20, she can go when she gets close to thinking about retiring, holy shit. I've said it before, the sky is not even the damn limit for her.
Facts.
All right. Next person. I got a story about this guy. Manders.
I love Manders. SGC boy. One of the first people when I knew I was getting into the business that I saw, talked about, got to see. TOS 6 first deathmatch tournament. My first time seeing him, and a lot of guys instantly loved what he did and what he was about. Always a pleasure to see him. Always nothing but good things to say. And I want to see him more back at H2O. A lot of people thought, oh, he was a bad guy as a champ. Nah, he deserved that title. He did what he had to do.
Oh, most definitely. And I've had the pleasure of a handful of times meeting up with him at, again, Sami Callihan's promotion, Revolver.
Yeah, Revolver.
And, oh, I got nothing but great things to say about that promotion. But
same.
One of the first times I met him there, I forget who it was that was next to him in the meet and greet line before the show, but he was asking me about my beard and was like, dude, how long have you been growing that thing? And I'm like, it's been too long. Like, I can't even remember the last time I was clean shaven. And then I got Manders rolling with this, because they said, you know what, me with my head, if I were to go clean shaven and looking, head bald like this, my head would look like a penis. And he was just like on the floor. Yeah. I'll never forget the reaction I got from him on that. That was awesome. Now I'm getting myself laughing. All right. Next one. The guy had one hell of a spot there during, I'm wanting to say it was one of the last episodes of Uncharted Territory this last season. But I'm talking about the bad boy Joey Janela.
Janela. Definitely a guy who you could attribute to a Mount Rushmore on indie wrestling, whether it's just off of his work rate, whether it's just off of his in-ring capabilities, whether it's off of keeping the flame alive. I had the pleasure to work a match when he wrestled the Big Bufo, also another great human being, Desmond Cole. There's a lot he will do and not much he won't in the name of independent wrestling. I definitely have nothing but good things to say about him, and it's always an experience seeing him in the ring, whether you're with him or you're in the crowd.
Oh yeah, and held that spot during Uncharted Territory. I believe the one with Cruel where he's on the ladder and then he hangs on to the rafter part. And
he's fucking insane. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Joey's absolutely insane.
I remember him seeing him climb up that ladder, and I'm like,
where is he going?
What is he doing? And then I see him reach up, and I'm like, no.
And he's monkey barring.
I know. It was insane. All right. Last but not least here, I think talking about H2O, it would be somewhat of a disservice if I didn't mention this guy. Whether you want to call him by the bulldozer or the killdozer, Matt Tremont.
The man that was known, and I hope is still inside Killdozer, Matt Tremont, is one of the big reasons that I am still in this business and that I still kept the love. A lot of people, a lot of corporations, a lot of business, they want to say we're like a family here. 99% of them is absolute fucking bullshit. Amazon will say that it's bullshit. Walmart will say it's bullshit. H2O is a family.
Oh yeah, I get the every show I watch.
Tremont, he would give the skin off of his back if he was physically able to. It has been said by so many people more important than me, and it will be said even after this. He is one of the greatest and nicest human beings in this entire fucking business. And as Reed Bentley alluded to when I believe it was an ICW show, they thought, it's time to stop taking shit. Matt could take anything he wanted in this business and no one would have a moment of, well, wait, actually, because he's gone around the world. He is the most decorated North American deathmatch champion in the history of this fucking sport.
Mm-hmm.
And to do all of that, to be doing this for 17 plus years, damn near, if not that being the line, and still being one of the most genuine, kind, compassionate, and professional people in this business. It is a testament to his soul that it is pure and it is just undeniably kind.
Oh yeah.
I hope, I pray that he's still somewhere inside what we now know as the Killdozer, because that Full House show was my first experience with who we now know as Killdozer, and that's not Matt. I don't know what the fuck happened, but none of us do. It's why you see all of his kids that he would call us trying to beat Matt out of him, try to get the bulldozer back. And I hope one day it works.
Oh yeah. No, that buried alive match with Cruel definitely turned the tides in a weird direction. But I'll give it this. Independent wrestling has not had like stories like this go on. You know, there's a lot of promotions out there that it seems a lot
matches for matches.
Matches for matches, basically. Just random stuff like here. What something like what he has with this Killdozer. Uniqueness in professional wrestling is few and far between. This is definitely something unique that I know I haven't seen anywhere, especially independent wrestling. So it's like I along with you hope eventually that we get the old bulldozer back, because I know, I mean, he still is, although I think it would be interesting with this Killdozer thing. He's still one of the guys that I'm like, eventually I want on the show. Like, I've had
I can't fault you for that at all.
I've been lucky enough to being the deathmatch fan that I am, getting to have some of the people on that I have, and like the big names that I've had. Matt Tremont is still one of them that I'm chasing, and now I'm confident eventually it'll happen, because hell, I have mentioned that one thing that the podcast has given me a bit of an itch for, because I've actually been featured on pre-shows for Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And it gave me the itch. I'm like, I would love to be a host of one of those, or to like jump in for commentary for even part of a show. So it was like, oh, that would be awesome if I got that there.
That's an itch I have too. I've always wanted to fucking dip my feet at the commentary table. It's just it seems like so much fun when you know what you're talking, like when you know what you're talking about and you're giving your all to what's going on in the ring.
Oh yeah.
But with whether it's Killdozer or it's Bulldozer, I can't fault you that, because as an entity in this world, Matt Tremont is someone that is prominent on everybody's lists, whether it's a list of who you want to meet, who you want to see, who you want to wrestle, who you want to interview. He is a commodity that people want to experience, because you are not the same in a very good way once you have introduced Matt Tremont into your life, because he will make that light seem brighter.
No, yeah. And you brought up a great point before about H2O definitely seeming like a family, because hell, I have yet to actually be there in person. It's on my list of stuff that I want to do, even if it's just sitting in the crowd for a show. But man, just watching the shows, you get that vibe of the whole roster. You just get that vibe that the whole bunch of you are just one big ass family. All right. Now I have some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. Some
Let's do it.
Might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I like adding that part in because it gets the guests chuckling all the time. First question is, I give you the question, you give me first answer that pops into your head. The first question I have here, one of the only ones that I like to keep in as much as possible. Craziest in-match moment that being a ref that you've been there to witness. I mean, we've talked about a few.
Low Life Louie and Brax, when Louie's skull started fountaining for about a good 30 seconds. That was the most. Now, and this is from someone who, when I was being shown the olden days of deathmatch wrestling, because I wanted to do it right, fucking love the Sexy Eddie spot. Love it. Love it. Happens to Louie, my pops. It's 5 feet away from me. My stomach flipped like 15 times. I was like, is he good? Is he? It was insanity. Watching that fountain of blood spurting from his forehead.
Like that, yeah, hard to top it. Like you when you were describing it, it reminded me being a Simpsons fan I know I forget who it was or what episode, but like a quarter got stuck in somebody's head. They pull it out and it's just that brought that image into my head. Yeah. One of the few things I don't have behind me is some Simpsons stuff. I got to get on that. All right. Now, being known as the Peacock referee for, the colorful hair you got there, what would you say is a favorite animal of yours? Besides maybe the peacock, if that's even on the list.
Besides the peacock. Damn. Favorite animal outside of my namesake. Wild that this is the question that's stumping me. That's fucking hysterical. There's a lot for a lot of different reasons. I'm a big. I kind of like I fuck with sharks. Like there's some like I was a big aquarium kid. Somewhere from a long ago Christmas, I have an encyclopedia of different types of sharks. I love penguins.
Okay.
Penguins are the best. If I saw a chance, I'd absolutely steal one from an aquarium if I got the chance. They're awesome. They're great little guys.
Oh yeah.
They're sweet little tuxedo flippers.
The zoo here in Omaha has a killer aquarium with some great penguins. Like I've had times where they have this little hole in this rock that goes into the water, and you'll see them just and just that and the sharks. But then my personal favorites has always been the gorillas and the alligators. They got this they call it the Kingdoms of the Night exhibit. And they have this one part of it that is literally like a boardwalk thing over a swamp.
And you're walking over the crocs and the gators.
Yeah. And then you see some of them, but every so often they have these things at nighttime where the lights in there are actually on because they're trying to simulate daytime for them. And then you actually see the amount of them they have in there. Holy shit.
It's horrifying. It's like swamp shit. You don't see them. You splash the water, and then there's 20, 30 reactions all around. It's horrifying.
Oh, I love it. But then I got a funny story with the girl. Is I was having to write something down, so I had my back to the
the glass.
And then all of a sudden I hear this loud wham behind me, and I like, oh shit! I turn around and it was one of the baby ones running off, because it had come up like wham. Like, you are not going to ignore me. It was hilarious. All right, now with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question in here. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or hell, one of each, because I know there's plenty of people out there for one reason or another don't drink. So I try to be respectful. Okay, let's go.
If I said I didn't drink, my credibility would be shot. So my favorite non-alcoholic drink, which gets me the most, was some of the most shit in the world. I was drinking it. I had about 2 glass. I had a glass before we were setting up, but I had 2 during the show. Milk, good old whole milk, red cap, nothing like it.
Okay, you know what, that hell, in over 200 some episodes, that is a first. I had not really heard anybody mention milk.
I just found it's to the point. One of my buddies, like a couple weeks ago, said, "Miss me." He's like, "Jimmy, I got to put you on to something." I went, a new brand of milk, and it's called H2O. It's from New Zealand dairy farms. It's like $7 a carton. He was like, "I promise you, you will taste how not American this milk is. Like, you'll taste the difference." I went to ShopRite, got a carton, sat in the car. It's like, all right, I recorded. I want to see what this is about. Took a first swig. I had to go get a second one. Like, milk aficionado. And my friends hate me. They hate it for it. They think it's disgusting. I was like, nah, you're weak. Your bones are weak. You won't survive the winter. I'll be here forever. Favorite alcoholic drink. Favorite alcoholic drink by far. Another shout out to my pops, Louie. Four Loko.
That dude loves his Four Loko, man.
That shit is like my lifeblood. Whenever I drive by like 2 or 3 liquor stores on my way from my house to H2O, when he's on a show, I always try to get one. And we talk about it. That lucky son of a bitch has gotten the jungle juice flavor, the new one that came out, and I still can't find it anywhere. I'm going to have to message him to bring me one if he can for Unlucky 13.
Hey,
but Four Loko is just, they also think I'm crazy for it. I can drink it like my first New Year's in Atlantic City, I had 6 full cans of Fruit Punch Loco during the night, and I still remember all of it. The pregame shooters, incredible. The sour peach, I down it. I've shotgunned them. I played beer darts with them. There's nothing I want. Like, Four Loko is the drink.
You know what? I actually have been debated picking up at least a can and just giving it a go, because I'm what I like to call an equal opportunity drinker. It's like, if somebody's suggesting, hey, you need to try this, I'm like, shit, okay.
All right, shit.
I
Fruit Punch, USA, Warhead, Cosmic Punch. Personally, my top 3 flavors. But I know the moment I get jungle juice, from what I've heard about it, that's going to be number 2. But Fruit Punch is the solid number 1, the GOAT of Loco.
Okay, I'm gonna have to definitely keep my eye out, because hell, for me, I mean, I'm a big Kona Big Wave for beer. I love that damn. I've been hooked on it.
Yeah.
And then Broken Skull American Lager, Stone Cold's beer.
Yeah.
The American Lager's better than the IPA.
I've yet to have it.
The American Lager is delicious.
I know one of my local stores got like 6 packs of it. I got to pick it up now.
Lucky. The the closest it's sold anywhere near me is Kansas City, and that's like
Jesus.
2.5 hours away. Lucky for me, though, my brother and sister-in-law live in Kansas City, so I could very well try to have
you got it in.
Can you pick me up some? All right. Now, I've had, you can see some of my hobby behind me with some of my, wrestling and Funko Pop collections. What would you say is a hobby of yours, if anything?
So, hobby, something I really like to do is a hobby. I like bowling.
Okay.
Even though that can also be a sport and a profession. I was JV varsity bowling in high school. Whenever I get the chance, if our first date is bowling, I am bringing my shoes, I'm bringing my bag, and I'm putting up at least 170. I like collecting memorabilia. Now with wrestling, it's gone from like trading cards to like specifically match used like weapons and gear. So I have some of my favorite pieces. I have Nate Webb's denim jacket that he made specifically for his one and only death match with Marcus Crane. I have Big F and Joe's gear from I think DOA 3, the last one he won. I have a piece of Chelsea Green's kendo stick from Hammerstein from the World versus the World on GCW. I got Marcus Mathers' original kick pads. I got a John Wayne Murdoch flannel, a bunch of 8x10s. I think my favorite is and then my skateboard. I don't know if you see it. So I have a skateboard that for the last year, every show I've worked or show I've gone to, I've gotten signed by wrestlers, and there's almost no room left. I got names on it. I got like Nick Gage, Matt Tremont, Jun Kasai, Takeda, Violent Jack, Los Macizos, Jacob, the great Sasuke signed it, and he popped for it. It was the greatest thing ever. Trisha Dora, Malachi Black. It's jam-packed. Like, if I ever sold this thing, which I never will, spoiler, it's name my price at that point. It was just a cool little thing. But I always bring it to shows with me because I never know who's going to be on the card or who I'm going to want to get signed on it. And my favorite is last TOS, I'm a big Green Phantom guy, and I'm talking with him before the show, and I'm like, yeah, would you want to, after the show, would you be willing to sign my skate? I went, you have a skate? I was like, does that have trusses on? No. And I forgot, like, two of the big spots he does. He has a skateboard spot, and he has a milk spot up in Canada. He's like, bring it down, and let me see it. But let me strap some tubes to it and use it in Tournament Survival. So the skateboard was used in TOS, signed by him, has blood from like several guys. It's just, it's my coolest, like, it's my coolest thing of memorabilia with that hobby.
Oh yeah, like I've got figures. My favorite stuff is trying to get stuff signed. Like I got figures signed from people like Swerve and Keith Lee, to Kushida, to Head Shrinker Fatu.
I thought that's who that one was.
To Taya Valkyrie, to Lance Archer, to Jeff Cobb. And my personal favorites, growing up, it was always wrestling and Ninja Turtles. Okay? I'm huge. And I kid you not, the same convention that I met Rikishi at, not too far away from him, was the guy that voiced Michelangelo from the original cartoon, and the guy behind Splinter from the first two movies. I have a Funko Pop of Michelangelo and Splinter signed by those guys.
That's fucking awesome.
And then the No Ring Deathmatch show. I apparently entered myself into a raffle for an event used item signed by everybody that was on the show. Little did I know that the event used item was going to be half a door.
Oh, I have a half a door story after this. Oh, that's amazing.
And then my favorite besides the Ninja Turtle Funko Pop signed, I'm a big country music guy. I got a wide taste in music, but I went to a show that was at a casino right across the river from me, and it was for one of my favorites, Dierks Bentley. And there was a part.
All right, that's a country name I actually know.
There was a part of the show where he's like talking about where his beer drinkers are at, and I'm just like, whoa! And then he starts pointing at me, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wait, he's pointing to somebody else. He is not pointing them at me. And then before I know it, he's helping the security guys get me over the barricade. And then before I know it, I'm literally shotgunning a beer on stage with him.
Holy shit!
I still got the can, but that's not
as would I too.
That's not even the best part. Towards the end, he points back at me like good knowing you. But then I see him take a guitar from that one of his other guitar guys was playing. And then I see him motioning for something to write with. And I'm like, Like in my head, I knew what was going to happen.
No shot.
Signed guitar from him that I got hanging on my wall just on the other side of the room. After we get done recording, I will literally show it to you.
That's fucking awesome.
Like, that thing's with me until I'm dead.
That's me with the skateboard. And subsequent skateboards, because I am damn near out of room on this first one, and I treat it like a gimmick now. The skateboard. And my buddy's like, I can't wait to see what crazy thing Deacon's going to get signed this year, because the year before it was the skateboard, and still is. But then at New Year's, I said, fuck it. I had June to sign. I didn't want to break a 20, so I got a picture with June, and then I had him sign my wallet. I was like, sign my wallet? So now my wallet signed my June Kasai. So my buddy's like, what's next? The 2-quart sauce container?
But you brought up 8x10s earlier. I have a whole bunch of signed ones. At Revolver, one of the last shows I went to there, they actually had GYV on the card, who I believe is actually now they are now their tag champs. But I
think so too.
I told them I have this idea, kind of like what I mentioned I did with Mike Bennett recently.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, so here's and they said, you know what, if I bought an 8x10, they'd sign it and they'd do the video. So I was like, okay, here's my idea. Grizzled young veterans. And I joked with them, my wife loves to give me shit, joking with me, calling me old. So grizzled young veterans with the grizzled old veteran.
Old veteran.
And they were all for it. So, boom. I actually have that up. It's on my show's Instagram. That's one of the pinned ones up there. That and the Mike Bennett one. But I actually also have this thing that I've kind of started doing where if I meet somebody, I get a picture with them. And then the next time I hear I'm going to see them again, I get an 8x10 made of it and I have them sign it.
That's Mo, that's fucking genius. That's brilliant. I never thought of that.
That's
such a cool thing.
I'm trying to remember who all I have at the moment. Some of the ones that jump off to my head, Rich Swan. I have trying to remember. Oh, speaking of Second Gear Crew, I got one. I need to get one of all three, but I have one of me with Mance Warner and Manders. And then there's some that are Mike Bennett, he's another one. Like, I got a whole mess of them. So I'm like, some point in my man cave down here, I'm getting them all framed up and they're gonna be all displayed around.
Oh, hell yeah.
That and my event posters I have through them. I got event posters signed by Bronson Reed, Jeff Cobb, Rich Swan, John Morrison,
Johnny last name.
Johnny last name. Yeah, whatever he's going by now. Johnny TV, I think. But yeah.
He has I think he's at 25 or 26 last names because he just added Johnny Cruz on the Jericho Cruise. So I always took, as soon as I hear no one, add it to the Wikipedia, add it to the marriage certificate.
Yep. Because hell, it's literally any promotion he goes to, you can just put that Johnny, whatever the promotion is.
Yep.
All right. Now, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Understand it's not going to fucking happen immediately with everything. Anything in life that is worth a shit that you really want to do, it is not going to come easy. This is absolutely something that when I started, it felt 2 steps forward, 5 back. Felt like it was getting nowhere, that I was behind where I should be. Do not compare your rate of success or your rate of improvement to others, because there are times where they've been in. You could be doing it to someone who's been here longer, who's picking things up a little faster. If you try to compare your experience to somebody else who is doing in your mind better, it is going to slow you down even more.
Mm-hmm.
Then sometimes what you need to do, if you feel bad, is just take a break. I took a 10-month break and came back, and I feel better than I did when I was training. Go at your own speed. Do not push yourself, and understand that it comes in time. If you truly want it, it's not going to matter how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted this. I still plan on wrestling one day. If you truly want this to be what you follow, this to be your dream, you will give your all without even having to tell yourself to. Push through the hard times, push through the pain. You will get there. Surround yourself with people who fucking believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm grateful that H2O is my home, because I'm surrounded by people who will always have my fucking back, who will always root for me and cheer for me. Get yourself a system and push. If you want it, you will get it. I guarantee it.
Yep. Great advice, because I've mentioned before, when people bring up something like that, it's because not everybody's going to get to the main event of WrestleMania right away. Sometimes it's one hell of a grind for a long time, if they get there at all. And it's all about getting to where, talking about WrestleMania, it's all about getting to where you feel like that is your WrestleMania. If you're not going to get to WWE, get to where it's
get yourself to where you can have that moment that you can call your mania.
Exactly. And hell, kind of like with the podcast, there's been, personal stuff that's gone on that has made me wonder sometimes if I was going to keep it going. But then something happens, I get a big episode, I get people I've been recognized at shows. Well, the wild one was at the zoo.
At the zoo.
That was insane. I was with my family, and they're all looking at me like, what? And then my wife asked me, what was that? And I'm like, oh, they recognized me from the podcast. And then the part about that, not just the whole thing about getting recognized at the zoo, the part that made me smile even more was seeing how the reaction from my parents, and how they don't get my passion of it, but to see that it's getting people recognizing me at the zoo of all places. They were like, okay, that is pretty cool. And I'm like, that right there meant almost more to me than any of it.
That's what I love the most. That's what also, that's the big thing with me, it keeps me going, just this shock of being recognized. Even before, when I was still just a fan, when I was the entrance guy, like that was my thing when I got into GCW, because I stayed at the entrance, I hyped everybody up. The first Chicago War Games, doing my entrance guy shit, I'm in my bandana era. I go to All Out the next day in Chicago, and I'm walking around concessions, and I get recognized by two dudes. They're like, "Wait, yo, were you at GCW last time?" Well, yeah, like, you were the entrance dude, right? Like, you were going fucking hard during Jordan Oliver's entrance. Right? I was like, you also, I was like, dude, your energy was great. Like, it was fucking awesome. And I'm like, I'm not, like that. I was like, I'm literally not even shit. I'm being recognized. And now, there's nothing more I love. I get recognized at like H2O when I'm not working for shit I've done at other shows. I get recognized out at other companies for what I've done. It's one of those things that keeps it going, that makes me know that this shit's worth it. Like, no matter how deep of a valley I get into, it's still worth it, because it's like cooking. It's one of the few things you can get gratification for work. You get to see that first bite in your dish. You get to see the smile, which I've had every time I've cooked my meal from eating the indies. Wrestling's the same way. You see someone recognize you, you feel the look in their eyes, and it's that same instant gratification of you've done a good enough job that they're excited to be like, oh shit, it's you.
Yeah. Like I don't think
the fucking zoo, though. That's a hell of a place to get recognized.
I know.
I love that.
Man,
the fucking zoo.
The zoo. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. That right there, because I'm like my own worst critic. So when other people,
aren't we all,
are like recognizing me at the zoo of all places,
love what you do, you're like, huh?
Yeah. Especially some of my earlier episodes. After some of those, I'm like, dude, people
are you sure? It's like, are you sure you know what you're saying? Who's paying you?
Yeah. But then
that's everything sometimes too.
Oh man, yeah. All right. Well, that is about all I have. I can hear my dogs rumbling around upstairs. Probably I'll get them fed. But anyways, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
All right. So Facebook, Jimmy Deacon. Ignore that TikTok. I was opening because I forget what my name was. All right. On TikTok, at the Peacock Ref. Twitter, at the Jimmy Deacon. Instagram is the same. Those are my places. Mainly on Twitter, mainly on Facebook. Post every now and then to Instagram. But if it's not Jimmy Deacon, it's the Peacock Ref on all socials.
We will get all that in the description. Yep, that foster dog that's attached to my hip is trying to get my attention again. That is like, my Dad. Signal. It is time to go. Well, anyways, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there, especially with that big Mania Week stuff H2O has going.
Mo, it's been an absolute pleasure. Would love to be on again whenever the time brings itself.
Don't. Like I was going to say, you're welcome back anytime.
Let's fucking do it, baby.
All right.
Thank you.